Hey there, podcast lovers. Looking for a fresh take on the world? Tune into Nikki's World, where we dive into everything hitting the headlines and chat about just what's on our minds. No filters, just real talk. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee or unwinding after a long day, Nikki's World is your go-to for genuine commentary on the real world. Subscribe now if you want to hear the real deal on what's going on. Join the conversation on Nikki's World, where every episode feels like catching up with an old friend. Don't miss out.
What's up, y'all? Let's do this.
Oh, hi guys. Welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. And today, guys, we got to talk about the Trump tariffs that Trump wants to give $2,000 to American citizens in this country. We got to talk about that and so much more. But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider donating a cup of coffee for me? Because for a price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Cumberland Farms, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I am on Ko-fi, guys. If you guys want to support, sponsor, donate, and tip to Nikki's World. If you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, please hit that like, subscribe, please give me a review, good, bad, and the ugly. Also, guys, I do have a bunch of affiliate links. First off is Minds.com. Minds.com is a Connecticut-based social media platform. They are an awesome alternative to Facebook. So if you guys value your right to freedom of speech like I do, and you guys want to be able to speak freely without fear of censorship or being blocked, suspended, or deplatformed, well then, head on over to Minds.com. Also, guys, I do have an awesome, and I mean the most awesome affiliate link with Byrna. Byrna is the less lethal self-defense company, guys. They make their top-of-the-line Byrna SD, Byrna LE, TCR, Mission 4, and their newest, guys, their compact launcher. So if you guys value your right to the Second Amendment, your right to self-defense, but you guys want to do it in a less lethal manner, well then, guys, head on over to my friends at Byrna.com. Also, guys, I do have the most awesome, and I mean the most awesome affiliate link with North Shore Medical Supply. North Shore Medical Supply, they make their top-of-the-line North Shore Mega Max diapers, their North Shore Supreme pull-ups, their Eterna boosters, guys. So if you know somebody out there that needs to wear adult diapers, that needs to be put in adult diapers like I do, guys, well then, send them on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply, and they will make sure that they are diapered up and padded up as always. And before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today? What? Yeah, I'm diapered up, padded up. I'm in my North Shore Megamax diaper with my Turner boosters and my onesies from Little Comfort. So I'm diapered up, padded up. Let's get ready with the show, shall we? And before we actually do get going, guys, I want to give a couple of minutes to talk about like what happened the last couple of days. I hadn't podcasted a lot because on November 7th, I went into Hartford Hospital because I had to do surgery on my right foot, which had a hammer toe claw. So I was out for a couple of days due to the anesthesia and all that. So I couldn't like muscle the strength to do a podcast show for y'all. So I was like out for a couple of days trying to recover. And I know I'm on the road to recovery now. So which means next week I'll have the stitches removed, and as long as the swelling goes down by the end of the month, I can be back to normal duty and then back in action as always. But I'm still recovering from the surgery and it's still a bit painful. And I'm hoping that I can get back in action like always and get a show out for y'all as always. So anyway, guys, I want to get the show going. So let's get talking, all right? So I want to talk about like how Trump is doubling down on giving $2,000 in tariff checks to American citizens. I do like the idea of this, guys, because as far as the price of everything going up and inflation going up right now, okay, thanks in part to Brandon and the fucked up Democrats, okay, I think like this: the idea that Trump is floating around satisfies both sides. Okay? Both sides wanted the whole tariffs to pay down the national debt, while the other side wanted people to have like dividend checks directly because of the tariffs. Trump came out with a good solution. Okay? The good solution is this: he's not going to give high income earners tariff checks. He's going to give like whatever, like the working and middle class, the tariff checks, okay? And people who make a certain amount of income, they're going to be excluded. But on the flip side, whatever's left from the tariff checks, they're going to go directly to pay down the national debt. So it satisfies people who want the national debt to be paid off, but give people income to help during these rough economic times. And I like that. In this one article from the New York Post, Trump doubles down on 2K tariff checks, even as percent seems to throw cold water on the idea. Read you the headline. President Trump renewed his pitch to send $2,000 tariff rebate checks to American citizens, even as Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent seemingly threw cold water on the idea. And in the post on Truth Social on Sunday, Trump said funds raised from the tariffs will be used to send $2,000 dividends to Americans, not including high-income people. But that's a good thing, because the high-income people need $2,000 tariff checks. They don't. They don't need that because they make enough money for it. They make enough money to cover everything. Okay? They really do. The thing is that those tariff checks are going to help what? The working poor, the working class, the middle class, and the upper middle class to be able to like afford things, to be able to buy things. And I think that's a good thing. And I think this is an awesome thing. Even here on townhall.com, Trump tariffs will pay $2,000 check to many Americans, president says. Read you the headline. Read you the headline from this. President Donald Trump called for many Americans to receive $2,000 per person dividend from tariffs, he posted on Truth Social. While inflation has dropped from 9% in 2021 and the stock market is up, housing and food costs remain high, Trump said that we need tariffs to pay down the $37 trillion debt. Yeah, and Trump is right. We have a $37 trillion debt in this country, okay? The amount we collected from tariffs is basically going to pay off, okay? What Trump is doing is like this. He's seeing the fact that, yes, and if you look on this article from townhall.com, he's saying that, yeah, even though inflation has dropped from 9% in 2021, stock market is up and housing and food costs remain high. So you see, the problem here is Trump wants to help people with the housing and food costs by saying like this, we're going to give basically like this, whatever amount we collected from the tariffs as dividends, sort of like people who put money in the stock market, okay? You put money in the stock market every quarterly or every monthly, you get a dividend check from the company that you bought stock in, and it amounts to like what? About, depends on how much you paid into it. So it's the same thing, the same concept. Trump wants to give Americans dividends as a way of saying, hey, we collected these tariffs. Now we are going to split this to you, the American people, okay? And the rest will go down to paying the debt. So what that means is high income earners will be excluded from getting the $2,000 tariff checks. It's going to be the people who are the working poor, the working class, and the middle class that are going to need it, because look at it this way. Housing and food costs are so high right now that the three classes need extra help. And that's what Trump is trying to do. Now, how they're going to do this is totally up to Congress. And Congress has to figure out, how do we dispense the $2,000 tariff checks? Who do we give it to? Okay? My idea is like this. Tariff checks should be given only to United States citizens. Okay? People who have a social security number, passport, and all that should be getting those tariff checks. High income earners, illegal immigrants will be excluded. The reason for that is illegal immigrants, they get nothing. High income earners, they get nothing because the amount of money they make, they don't need that $2,000. The people who need it are the people who, like, say, for example, work at Walmart, Stop and Shop, Big Y. What's the other one, guys? Amazon, Target, like that. Those people need those tariff checks, because $2,000, let me tell you something. $2,000 given to me, guys, I tell you what, $2,000 would pay some of my bills. $2,000 would basically like pay for my diapers, because diapers are expensive. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Every time I order diapers from North Shore Medical Supply, they used to be like what, 100 and change. Now it's like what, $200 for a case of diapers. Those tariff checks could get me what, 2, 3, 4 cases of diapers, and I'd be set for a while. Yeah, I would be. Yeah, but they would help me out too. They would help me out. Expenses on food, gas. You know what I mean? They'd help me. They help me in the long run. But I'll say this: But I'll say this, man, giving like tariffs to American citizens would help this country out in the long run. It would help this country out. It would help the people who need it the most. Unlike the Democrats who want to help out the illegal immigrants over the welfare class, Trump is simply wanting to help the working class, which the Democrats have ignored. Yeah, which is a good thing. And it makes me wonder, why aren't the Democrats like saying to the working class, hey, we'll help you with this, we'll help you with that? No, they're not. Trump is. Trump is really helping the working class. Trump is really helping the middle class, the poor, everyone else that needs it. Democrats, they're just helping what? Illegal immigrants? Like basically giving them like everything from what? A house, apartment, a phone, a driver's license. But the working class has to beg for shit, and the welfare class has to like beg for shit. Yeah, to me, guys, those $2,000 tariff checks are going to help people out. They're going to help people like be able to buy food. Okay, $2,000. Fuck. It's going to help the working class, the working poor, the middle class. And if it were up to me, the way I would do it like this: anybody who makes basically like $90,000 and up is excluded from tariff checks. Anybody who gets government assistance like welfare, food stamps, and all that, you're excluded because you already get your shit anyway. So the only people who get it are the people who work, who pay taxes, okay, who are considered the working poor, the middle, okay, and basically the working class. Three groups. Yeah, three groups who sorely deserve $2,000 dividend checks. Now I know some welfare class are gonna say, "Well, how come they don't give that to me? How come they don't give that to me?" Well, here's the simple answer: you don't work. You're a lazy freeloader bum who wants the taxpayers to pay for your lavish welfare lifestyle on the backs of everyone else. I would say like this: if you were working at like what, McDonald's or Walmart, Target, Starbucks, Amazon, and all that, I would I would be glad to. But the working class, fuck. I mean, the welfare class, fuck that, man. I wouldn't give them like the $2,000 tariff checks. I give it to people who work, who are working every day, who are struggling because of the rising cost of food, housing, gas. You know what I mean? All the daily necessities just to eat, sleep, and breathe on this third rock from the sun. I would. But then lies the but then you'll get the welfare class and the illegal class complaining like, oh, how come we aren't getting this? Simple. One of y'all is an illegal who should be deported. The other is a freeloader who won't lift a finger, who won't even get their ass out of their chair and into like say McDonald's or Starbucks or Walmart or Amazon and work their butt off. Pretty much self-explanatory. But to me, guys, these dividend checks are going to help the people who need it the most. And I think like this: tariffing countries and helping Americans is a good thing. Okay? And one, it's going to force these companies who do business overseas and ship the products they make overseas back to the United States realize, hey, if I don't want to be tariffed, I might as well just set up two factories, one overseas, one in America, and then be done with it. And then that way they can satisfy everyone in this country, which is good, which is a goddamn good thing. But I'm just gonna say it like this. The people who say that they want the whole tariffs to be used to pay down the debt, how are you going to help the people who are working and struggling to make ends meet in this economy? I want to know. I want to know how are you gonna how are we gonna pay down the debt and help people who are struggling to make ends meet? That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering here. But to me, guys, I'm just gonna say it like this: these tariff checks, if it comes to fruition and something I back and support, will help like reset the economy in this country. We'll get people back to the economy that we had prior to this COVID mess that we had in the begin with, and then with this inflation and with this leftist thinking of like, oh, inflation is transitory and bullshit. Yeah, this is why I tell people, man, dividend checks like this is going to help people. And the way I would do it is do it like the stock market. And if you don't know how like the stock market works, ladies and gentlemen, it's like people put money into the companies, and then what happens is like this: the amount of money you put in, like say, I'll say for an example, let's say you put $1,000 into Elon Musk's Tesla company, and if Tesla decides to pay dividends to its shareholders, you make money every quarterly. There are companies like I invest in real estate. I make money monthly just by investing in that company and just by putting money into it. And every month I get a check saying that, hey, thank you for putting money into my company. Here's the dividends from the amount that you gave us to help this company grow. And now we want to offer you more and see if you can invest more into this company. Same thing. Another idea like this, another idea like this, take some of the dividend check, okay, and put it in US savings bonds for people. Keep it for like 30 years. Because I'm gonna tell you this, government's gonna have to pay you one way or the other, and holding savings bond for like what, 30 years, or until you reach the retirement age of what, 60, 62 or 65 or 69, government's going to have to pay you back in interest. And that interest compounds over years. There's another way. But to me, guys, I think Trump giving $2,000 to taxpayers to help people is the best way forward. Okay? It's the best way to get people like back to work, sustainable. It like drives up the economy. Okay? It basically like this. People are able to say like this, hey, we can give $2,000 dividend checks. We can help the taxpayers. We can help the American citizen like when they need it the most. Like say, for example, we can help them when they need that extra boost to help pay for food to be put on the table, to help pay for gas for them to go to work and make money. Yeah. And then it also helps drive the economy up, especially, guys, a lot of people don't think about this. Those $2,000 dividend checks help your what? Your town, your county, and your state economy. It helps that. Trump actually is doing states a favor with these dividend checks. These dividend checks would help the states gin up the economy, drive it up, so to speak. It would help. It would help boost the local economy on Main Street instead of in Washington, D.C. It would help the local economy expand. It would build that up so badly. This is why I tell people it's like this. Dividend checks are going to help the local, county, and state economy boom. You're gonna see those dollars being spent in your town, county, and state level. And the states are gonna sit there and go like this. Damn, man, people are buying more. People are shopping more. People are consuming more. People are using more stuff. Man, and then all this tax money we're getting going back to the town, going back to the state. You know what I mean? Going back to the county. Boom. It's helping. And this is why, guys, I've often say this. Dividend checks are going to help reinvigorate the economy that Brandon fucking broke, that the Democrats broke in the last 4 years. The last 4 years, everybody was struggling to make money. Everybody was struggling to make ends meet. But now, everybody is making money in this country. Everybody is practically making a buck, okay? But the problem is the inflation that was caused by the Democrats is still a big issue. And these dividend checks from the tariffs would help bring the inflation down, bring the economy up, and basically getting people back to work would be the best fucking thing in the world. And to me, guys, I think like this. Trump should do what the Wall Street would do when companies make excessive amounts of money. Trump should treat the tariffs like a stock market company where the U.S. government is the company, okay, and the shareholders are the taxpayers, and the taxpayers receive what, like a quarterly or a monthly dividend. You know what I mean? It'd be in the form of like, say, like what, to like say like $5 or $1,000 every time the U.S. government collects so much tariffs. And I like the idea that Trump is doing this because I'm gonna give you an example of this. State of Massachusetts, which is next door to me in Connecticut, they have that same law too, where for example, any excess taxes they collect that exceeds the amount that is required by state law has to go back to the people. Has to go back to the people in Massachusetts. Trump is doing the same thing. Trump is taking what Massachusetts has done in its state law in their Commonwealth and saying in Connecticut, we're going to do the same thing. Or saying in America, we're going to do the same thing. Whatever we collect from the tariffs, after we give the money to the people, any leftover will automatically go to pay down the debt. That should be a federal law in this country. That should be a federal law. And to me, guys, I would support a federal legislation, a federal law that says like this. If we collect taxes and tariffs that exceeds the amount that we collected and we pay off all our bills, all our debts, any leftover goes back to the people. I would be in favor of that law. I would be in favor of saying like this. Okay, we collected tariffs and taxes and we use it to pay whatever we have. We have leftover. The leftover will go to the people. It should be written in federal law. That means the federal government does not hold that money anymore. After all the debts and bills are paid, the federal government hands it back to the people, and the people get to decide what to do with it. Whether they collect it in a check and go spend it locally, hey, I'm all for that. I'm all for that, you know. Whether they use it to pay other things, I'm all for that too. I'm all for that. But I would take the Massachusetts approach and apply it nationwide and say, look, we collect the taxes, we paid off everything, whatever's left goes directly back to the people. It's that simple. It is. It's that simple. But anyway, I want to talk about what happened yesterday. Okay. After 43 days of being held hostage by the Democrats, okay, because they wanted to fund Obamacare to pay for their illegal immigrants, the Democrats have finally come to their senses and fucking realized that this is going to cost them royally in the midterm elections next year. And Chucky Schumer, AOC, and Bernie Sanders have finally fucking woken up and smelled the goddamn motherfucking coffee and realized that holding this country hostage is going to cost them royally in the midterm elections. And it already is. It already is. Chucky Schumer already saw the writing on the wall. He already knows he's going to be primaried in the next election. AOC, Bernie Sanders, the same thing. They're going to get primaried in the next election because they caused the shutdown because they wanted to fund health care to illegal immigrants and hold the welfare class hostage. Yeah. So they finally woken up and realized that you keep doing this, you're gonna lose you might as well not be in power for the next 100 years. Okay? You might as well. But I'm just saying this. The government is no longer shut down. Trump yesterday signs the bill to reopen the government. And now the government is back in operation again. It's back operating, it's back in working order. And basically, guys, the Democrats have no leverage anymore. They have none. They use the shutdown as leverage to hold the country hostage, to hold the welfare class hostage, because they wanted to pay healthcare to illegal immigrants and they wanted to fund projects that was basically shut down by Doge and USAID. They wanted that, but then the Democrats have finally woken up, come to their senses, and realized that this is going to cost them royally in the midterms. And I think the midterm elections next year is going to be a bloodbath for the Democrats. Because the welfare class, now that they finally woken up and fucking smelled the goddamn motherfucking coffee, they finally realize that, they were used as leverage to give free healthcare for illegals. And now the welfare class is realizing this and going, why the fuck am I voting Democrat when the Democrats don't care about them, and then they're using them as leverage to get illegal immigrants free shit. Telling you, man. Telling you, man. They're finally waking up and smelling it. They're finally waking up and smelling the goddamn motherfucking coffee. They're finally realizing that if they kept this government shut down even further, and even up until the holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm gonna tell you this: you think the Democrats are gonna lose now? They're gonna if they kept this shutdown going all the way up to Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't think the Democrats will ever be elected anytime soon. They'll just hand the Republican Party a victory, a win, a seat in power for the next what, 10, 20 years? To me, yeah. But I'm telling you, man, they finally woke up and realized you can't hold the country hostage all because you want to give free healthcare to illegal immigrants. You want to fund transgender bullshit in Uganda, or you wanted to fund drag queen bullshit in Latin America. It ain't swinging. It ain't swinging. But then the Democrats probably woken up and realized, oh shit, midterm elections are next year. That means certain states are going to be in play, and certain states are going, and certain congressional seats are going to be in bigger play. So they're realizing that shit. If we kept the shutdown going, I might not have a job next year. Well, I'm telling you right now, they probably woken up, smelled the fucking goddamn motherfucking coffee, fucking realized that, oh shit, we can't shut this government down past Thanksgiving and Christmas. If we do, I kiss my chance of ever being reelected goodbye, and Republicans gain more seats, more power, gain majority power, and the Democrats will never like get power ever again. Telling you, man. Telling you, man. Someone must have told the far left Democrats in the Senate and in the House that you keep the shutdown going past Thanksgiving and Christmas, kiss your chance of ever being reelected goodbye. They probably told them. And then they say like this: even the welfare class that you claim to support and back are probably going to wind up voting Republican. That alone probably threatened Democrats and scared them so badly out of their motherfucking diapers that they realized that, oh shit, we can't piss off the welfare class. If the welfare class jumps and bails and runs to the Republicans, they're fucking screwed. They're fucking screwed. So that's why I think last night when they were voting on this in the House side, and then prior couple of days, the Senate, they were voting on this, they were realizing that they're gonna get screwed in the midterm elections come next year, because next year's midterm elections is shaping up to be a bloodbath for the Democrats, and the voters aren't going to forget this shutdown. Voters aren't going to forget it. They're going to remember this when they go to the polls and vote on that day. They're going to sit there and go like this: why should I reelect this asshole who caused the shutdown? You know what I mean? But voting them out and then voting the other person in. They're gonna do that, and I'm telling you, man. Probably Democrat pundits have finally told the Democrat Congress that you can't do this, because if you do, you're going to lose the election. They probably finally got the message, and they probably finally got the memo. Probably AOC probably finally woken up and realized that, look, if she wants to remain in power and all this shit, she better end the shutdown. But, I saw the votes yesterday on the House, and they voted to end the shutdown, which is great because I have a younger brother who works for the federal government, and he was without work for basically like what, a month and so, and that kind of sucked. That kind of sucked. But I tell you this, guys. I tell you this. I'm glad he's back at work. I'm glad he's back. You know what I mean? I'm glad the government's back at work. And especially for people like me who are in the Coast Guard Auxiliary, because some of our patrols are funded through the federal government. So I'm glad the government's back. I'm glad. Anyway, guys, I want to talk about this article from the New York Post. And this made their rounds on the internet where they're saying that, like, Adolf Hitler may have had a micro penis and just one ball, DNA analysis show. I want to read you this headline from this. Adolf Hitler has long been rumored to have just one ball, but also had a micro penis according to new DNA analysis. Read you the second headline. The Nazi dictator is believed to have had a hidden genetic disorder known as Kallmann syndrome, which can thwart development of sexual organs, according to a stunning new documentary analyzing his biological makeup. Okay, I'm gonna debunk the bullshit right here and there. I'm gonna debunk this bullshit so far up the nose that whoever thought of this shit is is gonna be running back to their mommy and daddy's basement for the rest of their life. Okay? First of all, I have Kallmann syndrome, okay? Which is a disorders of sexual development condition, formerly known as an intersex condition, okay? If Adolf Hitler actually had Kallmann syndrome, he had facial hair to begin with, because because a lot of people, facial hair is a sign that you've gone through puberty, okay? In boys, it means that you've gone through puberty. For him to have facial hair that you see in all the historical documents, that precludes him from having Kallmann syndrome. That precludes him. The main condition to have Kallmann syndrome is to have no sense of smell, which is what they call ANOS 1, formerly known as CAL1 gene. If he did have it, you would see it in pictures. You would see it in his voice. Okay? You would hear recordings of him. You would. But I'm telling you this right now, it's all speculation. It's all speculative. Okay? It is. And what's kind of funny is the London Times is reporting this, and I'll read you the headlines from it. Hitler had a hidden genetic sexual disorder, DNA analysis revealed. The Nazi dictator had Kallmann syndrome, which hinders normal puberty and the development of sexual organs, according to groundbreaking research. This coming from the London Times, okay? And I'll read you the headlines. In May 1945, Allied soldiers wandered through Adolf Hitler's Führer bunker in a grim fascination, but one of them spotted a macabre opportunity. Colonel Roswell P. Rosgan of the U.S. Army, one of General Eisenhower's press officers, fixated his eyes on the sofa where the Nazi dictator had taken his own life. Okay, read you the headline. He cut a piece of the bloodstained cloth and carried it home. 80 years on, the grisly memento has allowed scientists to do something extraordinary. They sequenced Hitler's DNA. Okay? And read you the other one. The biological design of the tyrant has been studied in detail, and the research will be covered on Channel 4 documentary, Hitler's DNA, Blueprint of a Dictator. But this raises the question. this army officer who got the sofa or part of the sofa had it with him for so many years in his home. Okay, how good is that DNA? How good is that? Okay, that's the question. The other question is the chain of custody. How good was that chain of custody back then? Okay, how good? And the fact that they're saying that Adolf Hitler may have had Kallmann syndrome, I can't have to say like this. Until I see the actual like article, until I see the actual report, I'm calling bullshit on this. I'm calling bullshit because to say that Adolf Hitler had Kallmann syndrome, that he had a mustache, I call bullshit. I call bullshit because to say that he had this condition flies in the face of people like me who actually have Kallmann syndrome. Okay? The fact that I have Kallmann syndrome, I have the Cal1 gene, or what now they call ANOS1, which is the fact that I'm born with what? A micropenis, ambiguous genitalia, gynecomastia, born with no sense of smell, born with sensory neural hearing loss. And for people to say he has a condition like me, bullshit. I call bullshit. I'm throwing the bullshit flag on this one. That's why when I saw this on X today, I've been going off the hook, asking Grok to debunk this, to fact check this. Grok's been firing back at me saying it's been debunked. The chain of custody it's questionable. It's all circumstantial evidence. It's all what hearsay. It's all like conspiracy theory. It's basically stuff. It's basically stuff that you would see normally on Unsolved Mysteries or on an episode of the X Files. Pretty much, guys. Pretty much. But the fact of the matter is, if you listen to his recordings, his speeches, it doesn't sound like he has Kallmann syndrome. And if you look at the photographs of him, okay, all the photographs that were taken of him show he has a mustache. I don't think he can qualify as having Kallmann syndrome. And I call bullshit into the scientific claim. I call bullshit from a fucking mile away. I really do. I really do. And as someone who has Kallmann syndrome and who has a rare genetic condition, okay, I call bullshit. I call bullshit from about 100 damn fucking miles away. I call bullshit. Yeah, I'm gonna say it like this: bullshit, a bullshit, and a bullshit. Because if he had those conditions, he wouldn't have the mustache, the famous mustache that he has. He wouldn't. He wouldn't. And I called bullshit into the researchers' claim that he has Kallmann syndrome. How do you know if he had it? I want to see the DNA karyotype that you claim that he has. I want to see that right here. Okay? As someone who actually has Kallmann syndrome, I want to see that bullshit claim. I want to see that. I really do. I fucking really do. Yeah. For me, to have Kallmann syndrome and to be born with no sense of smell, sometimes it's a perk. Sometimes it's a perk because I can walk into a place that stinks so high and be like, it's nothing. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I tell people it's like this. You want to know how you can tell you have COVID? When you lose your damn sense of smell. Me? I already lost my sense of smell, and it's perfectly normal for me. But the only way they're going to tell I have COVID is they stick a temperature thermometer up my butt, and if my temperature goes above 100 degrees, they're assuming I have COVID until fucking proven otherwise. Yeah, but after reading this article and reading the bullshit online, telling you, man, I wouldn't be surprised if I get called in or get questioned on this bullshit of a claim. I wouldn't be surprised, guys. I would not be surprised. Okay? I would not be, guys. But anyway, oops. I'm sorry if you heard the music in the background, guys. Okay, I do apologize for that. But I want to talk about this article from the New York Post. A beloved Connecticut meteorologist, Jeff Fox, at 75, died after a lengthy battle with cancer. Okay, yes, I knew Jeff Fox. I was quite friends with him. Okay, I encountered him at the U.S. Coast Guard station in New Haven, Connecticut, when we had one of our open houses there, and I got to introduce him to the Coast Guard, what we do, and all that. Okay, he was a great meteorologist back then in Connecticut, especially when he was on News Channel 8, and he basically like talked us through like basically Hurricane Gloria in '85 and the blizzards and all that. He was like a science geek. He was like a guy who was into science and technology. Man, if he was alive, he could probably do a TV show on science and technology, almost like MythBusters. Yeah, almost like MythBusters, guys. But I will say this: he died of pancreatic cancer, died in his sleep, which is probably the best way to go. But 75 years old, he died battling pancreatic cancer, lived a good life, you know what I mean, and did what he did to fight it. But you know, as they say, you fight the good fight, but you know, you lost the battle. But yeah, at least he went out nicely. At least he went out nicely, and he went out like a champ. You know what I mean? He went out like a champ. But I will say this, man. He went out. You know, for many, Jeff Fox was very well known in Connecticut. He had a blog called like his permanent record. I guess it's on archive now, but he had a blog on it. But he went out like a champ. I know he left Connecticut because there was controversy of like sexual misconduct that he did while he was at WTNH and WTIC like that. But those are speculations. I'm not privy to those, but he 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 did a good thing and he lived a good life. But he'll be missed. I mean, he will be missed. But as they say, man, cancer, we're still fighting. That's a war that's never going to end. You know what I mean? That's a war that we're gonna keep fighting. And I know I liked him when he was talking about Hurricane Gloria. He was talking about the blizzards, the snowstorms. You know what I mean? And he even got a chance to hop on a seat with the Blue Angels, which is kind of awesome, man. I mean, how many people get to be invited for a flight ride with the Blue Angels? How many, y'all? Yeah, really, how many? Not many in the world. Mm-mm, not many in the world. But he was a good guy. He was a favorite in Connecticut. And you know as they say, your time comes, your time comes. You know what I mean? When you gotta go, you gotta go, you know? So he'll be missed in Connecticut. I know people were talking about him yesterday They were talking about him on like a WTNH News Channel 8. All the news stations were talking about him. All the meteorologists were talking about him. So he'll be missed. He will be. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I will see y'all soon. Bye for now.
You just listened to an episode of Nikki's World. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.